The markets are closed, but the business stories are just heating up. Hello, I'm Mai Rodriguez. Catch up with us on Business Brief. Asian shares mostly slide lower on Friday following a late retreat on Wall Street during the previous session. Japan's Nikkei rises to nearly 2% after Japanese officials said they had resolved questions over the tariff that will apply to exports to the U.S. China's Shanghai Composite also rose by almost 0.1%, while the rest are in the red. In the currency markets, the U.S. dollar appreciates against the Japanese yen, the Singapore dollar, South Korean won, and Thai baht. But it is flat against the Hong Kong dollar. The Australian dollar, on the other hand, depreciates against the greenback. In commodities, gold prices rise by 1%, while oil prices are down. In the crypto space, Bitcoin falls by almost 0.8%, while Ethereum rises 0.9%. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas is moving to regulate e-wallets used for online gambling. New rules will require biometric ID checks, spending limits, and time-based controls to curb addiction and financial harm. The BSP says the measures aim to promote a safer, more responsible use of digital financial services. This comes amid growing calls from lawmakers, religious leaders, and even President Bongbong Marcos to address the social impact of online gambling. While some want a total ban, others warn this could cost jobs and hurt consumer protection. The Department of Economy, Planning and Development, or DepDev, is pushing for variable tariffs on rice to better protect both farmers and consumers. This will prevent farmers from experiencing sharp price swings. DepDev Secretary Arsenio Balisacan said the economic team needs to find a permanent solution that is not costly and will isolate farmers from price volatility. Meanwhile, Balisacan said the 60-day suspension in rice importation ordered by the president will not have an impact on inflation. A socio-economic policy think tank sees the Philippine economy to grow around 5.9% this year, thanks to strong household spending and cooling inflation. In an interview on BNC's Business 360, John Paulo Rivera from the Philippine Institute for Development Studies said growth in the third quarter could hit 5.6 to 5.8%. But he clarifies risks from high interest rates, weak construction, and climate change remain. As for interest rates, he believes the Bangko Sentral has room to cut by 25 basis points, but should tread cautiously to avoid volatility in the peso.
I'm seeing right now, given the macro indicators, that a hold then signal path might be the best way to look at the direction of rate cuts for now.
Fuel prices are set to go down next week based on price developments Friday. Jetty Petroleum President Leo Bellas said diesel prices may go down by 130 to 150 per liter and gasoline by 40 to 60 centavos. Bellas also cites the additional increases in OPEC Plus oil production. But geopolitical risks and evolving U.S. trade policy are still clouding the broader demand picture. We're taking a short break. More business stories are up next. You're watching Business Brief. Back in Business Brief, the Philippine capital market needs to catch up with its regional peers. Sujin Kim tells us about the measures that will be implemented by the Securities and Exchange Commission to achieve this. Go ahead, Sujin.
Yes, Mai, at the Sharefill Forum on transforming the capital market, Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman Francis Lim unveiled an aggressive reform agenda to make the Philippine capital market deeper and more competitive. Lim warned that the country is lagging behind regional peers, noting that Vietnam, which actually sought Philippine guidance in 2005, now has over 700 listed companies and nearly $18 billion in annual trading value, far surpassing the Philippines' 284 listed firms and $3 billion in trades. To close this gap, the SEC is pushing to expand listings, particularly among small and medium enterprises, legislative franchise holders, and eligible cooperatives. Actually, just announced today, SEC orders all listed companies to end classification of common shares into Class A and B, repealing 1973 rules used to monitor foreign ownership limits. Under MC10, firms have 1 year to amend articles of incorporation to reflect the classification, aiming to boost trading efficiency. It is also revising share registration rules and liberalizing policies on exempt transactions, REITs, short selling, and the repo market. On ease of doing business, Lim announced strict transaction processing deadlines of 3, 7, or 20 working days, backed by a deemed approved rule, and the launch of a real-time application tracking system. The SEC will expand its one-day registration system from 30 to 83 company categories, soon to reach 133, using automated identity verification and blockchain-based document authentication to boost security and trust. The reforms also include a 50% cut in document fees and discounts for small firms seeking to tap the capital market, with the goal of making regulation a trusted part of doing business. With an average workforce age of just 39, Lim vowed to invest in human capital to build a better regulator. He stressed that trust and integrity are non-negotiable, with zero tolerance for fraud, insider trading, or market manipulation. Calling for stronger partnerships between the SEC, industry groups, and the government, Lim pledged that the Commission will lead in shaping a modern Philippine capital market that drives sustainable economic growth. And those are latest updates from Makati City. Back to you, Mai.
Thanks for that report, Sujin Kim. The Philippine Institute for Development Studies warns that a proposed 100% U.S. tariff on semiconductors could threaten the country's electronics value chain in the medium to long term. Speaking to BNC's Business 360, Senior Research Fellow J.P. Rivera said, while the impact is seen as manageable for now, a drop in demand for chip exports could follow if the country fails to secure manufacturing commitments from global tech companies. Philippine exports mostly focus on back-end assembly and testing, which are likely to be spared from immediate disruptions. This follows DepDev Secretary Arsenio Balisacan's statement that U.S. tariff on semiconductors will not have a major effect on Philippine exports.
At the onset, the most immediate impact could be a sharp drop in demand for our chip-enabled exports. But this can happen from the medium term to the long term. But so far, I would broadly agree that it is still manageable.
PSE CEO Ramon Monzon has yet to decide on adding Digiplus to the 30-member index. Once a sure inclusion, Digiplus now reflects the volatile, controversial e-gaming sector. Calls to regulate or ban e-gaming have increased its stock volatility, putting the PSE in a tough spot. Monzon's indecision has drawn criticism from both traders and analysts. In other news, Lucio Tan's Philippine National Bank and Lance Gokongwei's RL Commercial REIT will join the MSCI Philippines Index after the August rebalancing. PNB is up 142% year to date, while RCR has gained 35%. DNL Industries, which is down 18% year to date, was dropped from the list. The Board of Directors of Universal Robina Corporation has approved a special cash dividend of 2 pesos and 20 centavos per share. The dividend will be paid from URC's unrestricted retained earnings as of December 31 and will be given to all stockholders of record as of September 5 this year. Payments will be made on October 1st. San Miguel Corporation will raise up to 30 billion pesos via public offering of preferred shares. The board approved issuing 400 million Series 2 preferred shares at 75 pesos each. The offer covers 266.67 million shares worth 20 billion pesos with an oversubscription option for 133.33 million shares valued at 10 billion. We're taking a short break. A look at how Philippine stocks did today. Coming up next, you're watching Business Brief. Back again on Business Brief. Senator Panfilo Lacson links the upper chamber's declining trust and performance ratings to public backlash over the controversial budget insertions, as well as its handling of the impeachment case against Vice President Sara Duterte. A recent survey reveals that the Senate's trust rating fell from 57% to 49%, while its performance rating dropped from 53 to 47%. Despite these issues, Lacson is optimistic that efforts to open budget discussions could help restore the public's trust. The camp of Vice President Sara Duterte says the work is not yet over, since the Supreme Court has yet to decide on the motion for reconsideration filed by the House of Representatives. On Wednesday, 19 out of 24 senators voted to archive the articles of impeachment against the vice president. This after the Supreme Court ruled that the impeachment complaint was unconstitutional, as it violated the one-year rule on filing such cases. But if the High Court reverses its decision, senators may vote to revive the case. Duterte's spokesman Miguel Corporation said the vice president is ready to face allegations of misuse of confidential funds. Ultra-Bilyonaryo Ramon Ang of San Miguel Corporation offers to solve Metro Manila's flooding problem after results of their investigation show that the Tulyahan River is clogged. He says the river is the main drainage of Quezon City, Valenzuela, Navotas, Malabon, and Obando in Bulacan. RSA says housing may also be offered for those who might be affected. He also plans to build a waste-to-energy facility where metro mayors can bring their trash.
Ang daming solution, ang daming pera pinag-uusapan. Kami nang gagawa. Sa Miguel na magkiklearing. Pero without you guys authorizing us, hindi namin magagawa yun. Kailangan pa ba ng batas yun? Hindi na. Yung mga nagtayo ng bahay sa gitna, tanggalin na yun. Kaya dami nyo pang genius na nakita ko sa television.
Manuel Villar has entered the Bloomberg Billionaires Index, ranked 99th globally, with a net worth of $23.1 billion, the only Filipino in the top 100. He built his fortune through real estate empires like Vista Land, Villar Land Holdings, and retail chains such as All Home and All Day. Enrique Razon Jr. also made the Bloomberg list at 239th. with $12.3 billion tied to his stakes in port operator ICTSI, Soler Casino, and Manila Water. On Forbes' list, however, Razon is currently the second richest Filipino, while Villar places third, highlighting a notable difference between the two rankings. The discrepancy boils down to methodological differences in how each index measures and tracks wealth. Over 100 advanced robotics products debuted at the World Robot Conference in Beijing. This is twice as many as last year's total. The event's theme is Making Robots Smarter. The cutting-edge products include rescue robots. More than 400 experts and entrepreneurs will attend forums to discuss technology and industry trends. Philippine shares fell for the second straight day as investors continue to digest the latest economic data. The PSE index ended lower by 0.4% to close at 63.39, finishing the day as the 7th worst performer in Asia. Majority of the day's sectoral indices ended in the red, with financials falling the most at nearly 1%. Decliners outpaced advancers 107 to 96. Total value turnover reached 7.3 billion pesos. Week on week, the PSEI rose 0.5%. Majority of the day's most active stocks ended in the green, with SP New Energy falling the most at more than 10%. Meanwhile, the foreign exchange market, the peso is currently trading at 57.01 against the greenback, depreciating from the previous close of 56.97. That's a wrap for today's Business Brief. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Join us again next week as we bring you the stories that help you plan your next big, bold moves in business, only here on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. See you then.